Hey everybody, I am at Guitar Summit in Mannheim in a secret booth with Eric Klein, who is the Chief Product Designer from Line 6. And we are looking at the much discussed over the last few months.
Much hotly debated.
Yes, Helix Stadium. This is the XL version, the bigger of the two.
Yep.
And I haven't seen this yet, at least not in the flesh. So I'm excited. And Paul Hindmarsh is with us as well. And lovely Paul is going to do some playing at the end. We could probably make a 3-hour documentary about all the new features that are in Stadium XL. And our sort of Guitar Summit coverage is a little bit, more guerrilla than that. So I guess I'm pretty familiar with Helix. It sort of was hugely successful for Line 6, but it's felt a little bit long in the tooth the last year or two.
10-year-old product, yeah.
So I think this is it's the right time for a new look at Helix. What is without deep diving into the real weeds, which I think we've discussed, we absolutely will do later this year. What are the highlights? What are the headlines?
So I got accosted by a bunch of influencers yesterday, and they're like, "What are you doing? How are we supposed to do a report on this that's not 3 hours?" So they're actually going to split it up and agree to do little chunks and then link to each other's review. So yes, it's deep. It's if anybody's familiar with Helix, it's going to sort of feel like a second skin. There's a lot of familiarity in there. A lot of things are faster, a lot of things are easier, a lot of things sound better, a lot of things are more powerful, a lot more control. I guess the top line feature is our all new Agoura modeling methodology, which is the biggest pivot that Line 6 has made in our 30-year history at this point. It'll be 30 years next year. And it's a whole new approach to modeling that we've never done before. And we weren't sure exactly how it would work, so we took the very latest HX models that we released in the 3.8, 3.7, 3.6 updates, and we actually modeled those first because we figured, hey, if we can make something that feels a lot more dynamic and is a lot more fun to play, and it sort of inspires you to play more, then our very best HX stuff, then we know we've done it. And so the last 3-ish years, we've been doing nothing but really refining the process and making sure that's great. And now we have 40 Agoura channels for 1.0.
So that's I guess that's modeling. What we have now adopted as this term of where you are digitally recreating at a sort of component level what a guitar amplifier or a bass amp, what a product would do.
Down to the capacitance of the length of wire. Yeah.
So that's modeling. And I think interestingly, when profiling, or whatever you're calling your version of profiling, when that first appeared in the old Kemper, I think there was a period where everyone went, well, that's better than modeling. So that's what that's what we want.
Sure.
And I think the last 5 years, really, I think it's now accepted that the two are good for different things. So modeling will do a better job of giving you a tool that's going to be a flexible amplifier that you can adjust and control. And profiling will be a snapshot of your favorite tone with your favorite mics on it. And it's just, you choose as the individual what works best for you.
Best of both worlds.
But of course, old Helix didn't do profiling.
Correct.
So
because Christoph's one of our friends, we didn't want to step on his toes.
So what's the approach to that functionality in Stadium XL?
So it's not out yet. We call it proxy, and we even have a little sheep icon because of Dolly the sheep, and also because we're all sheep following in the footsteps of Kemper, right?
So proxy is your name for cloning or profiling.
Yeah,
or whatever.
and it's our bespoke solution. We have a couple ways that we're approaching it. We haven't really nailed down exactly which one we want to do. It is cloud-based, which is nice, which allows us to improve that technology over time, even between updates. So a week into an update, you might find, hey, guess what? The captures are now more accurate, or they're better, or they happen to respond a little bit better too. So,
and are you basically, this is the hardware, you would need this piece of hardware and you do it like some of your competitors do, where effectively you're running sends from a desk or a microphone direct into here to capture. Okay, fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's is that one of the features that will be available? Proxy will be available from launch, or
no, that's next year.
Right.
Yeah.
So anybody who goes into Helix Stadium on day one is going to get all of the modeling and a sort of a commitment that Proxy will be released in 2026. Okay, cool. You made a comment that it'll feel like a second skin if you've had Stadium before,
except for some of the special new things. But yeah.
So this all looks very familiar, and I think people are this signal chain sort of graphic has been quite widely adopted, I think, in the industry now. So even if you've not used Helix before, if you've used something else, you're probably going to be familiar with what's going on here. I like that. I guess you've stuck with the colors and
all the cap sense stuff, and if focus view is open, you can instantly jump to what you want. Yeah. So,
but what is a massive leap forward, and I love, because I'm probably of a slightly, I'm not a digital native kind of guitar player. So I'm going to just press a button because I saw you do it. Where did it get me the nice screen? Where did that come from? Right.
Yeah.
I love all this. I'm just a massive sucker for just seeing basically what I would traditionally have had in an amp or on the floor.
And the signal flow view is boring and engineer brain like it's not cool to look at.
So is Tim is angry. I like it. So wow, and I've just realized. Okay, so this is back from Helix again, isn't it? Where you've got your two styles of edit. I said we wouldn't go deep on this, so let's stop if I am. But I do remember this from Helix, which was this if you're just either not familiar with the terminology that's on an amp or a pedal, or you just can't be bothered to go into it. Yeah. You've got this lovely, give me more low gain push. No, give me more Tim is angry or whatever. And wherever I drop this, it's behind the scenes. It's obviously just adjusting. In fact, I guess you can see it at the bottom.
You can actually see the parameters at the bottom adjusting. Yeah.
And I did always like that, but I'd actually forgotten that Helix did that. But
it doesn't actually.
Okay, what did I see that did that then?
StageScape M20D, our digital mixer, did that.
That's right.
So this is taken from, it didn't have a pretty picture, and we had just an orange box there. It's like, well, that's boring. Let's at least put a cool 3D image or something like that in it.
That's God, I am, wow. That's one of those obviously little memory clips that's stored. I knew I'd seen it on a Line 6 product before, but you're right, it's on the digital mixer. That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Because we were designing Helix around the same time as M20D was coming out, and we had a touchscreen on the original design, and it had this functionality. At the last second, they pulled the touchscreen and said, don't worry, Eric, you'll get your touchscreen in 3 years. And now 10 years later.
Do any of the screens with a product on it interact in the way that you might, you see on a lot of like those sort of positive grid type apps where, you'll get an amp with some knobs on it and you can just touch one of the knobs and drag it up and down, and I'm guessing, that's obviously not happening on this kind of picture, is it?
It doesn't, because there's a disconnect from the user interface, and we are really embracing the whole kind of like Apple Logic paradigm, where if you get over that little tiny hump, you can create things as fast as you can think it. So if these knobs start turning and you're moving a knob and then trying to see what it is connected to visually on the screen, there's a disconnect and it slows you down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I must admit the definition of the graphics on the screen are superb. It does look like a kind of, I believe, very quickly you're going to get quite familiar with what you're doing here. So just going back again, other headlines that maybe, the big leap forwards that Stadium XL will do that, either original Helix can't do, or even just other products in this realm can't do?
Tons. We've really pushed ourselves to make something as fast and easy to get around, and provided enough context so people can get the sound of that tone in their head to something they can hear as soon as possible. And sometimes it just requires giving people those tools. So if somebody walks into a brick and mortar store and plugs in with and starts doing Meshuggah riffs on a 7-string, but the preset is set up for some country thing, they're going to think it sounds terrible and they're going to put it down. So there's a little info page that will tell you, well, these are Paul's presets. Let me go to the factory presets here. So now you have info about every preset, so you can see the instrument used, the tuning, what the snapshots do, the playback system, because that's so important. So at least you're like, okay, I get it. And then we're going to completely blow these speakers. Let's turn this down real quick. If you happen to hit the clip icon, you actually hear a clip through that preset. And while this is open, you can select another preset. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. That would sound totally terrible with a telly, right? But if you hit info, it actually tells you, oh, this was designed for both guitar and bass. And then lots of little things like you can turn the info page on and off and start things with your feet. So you don't have to constantly reach down and do things too. So it gives you the tools sort of as a launch pad to get something close. So if you find a factory preset, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Go. And then the focus view, which we've been talking about, is sure, you can dial it in traditionally, but if you want something to be a little bit edgier or a little scooped or a little fat or whatever, you can now morph between 5 distinct flavors of every amp and effect. And then later on, you'll be able to actually designate these 5 zones yourself, which means you can then sort of morph between your favorite 5 variations of your favorite amp, or more pragmatically, if you're in a show or something like that and you realize, well, you know what, I use this one sound for this one amp all the time, but sometimes the venue's a little bright, sometimes a little dark, and I have to compensate that. And typically you would go in and have to tweak the treble and the presence and maybe the bass and maybe some other things. And a lot of times you just don't bother. It's like, that's work. But if you go in and go, all right, a little darker, oh, perfect. Now you've solved that problem immediately, and now you're happier and you're performing better because it's now sounding the way you want, like that.
Whilst we're on an amp page, I mean, I'm kind of interested if we could get one of the Agoura models of, I don't really mind, you know, an old Marshall or something like that. I'm kind of just interested to see.
Well, let's find one with a Marshall. So I'm going to go in and look for Marshall in the preset list, and here are all the factory presets with Marshall. We have a lot of Marshall presets.
And why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, let's say we have a plexiglass.
Plexiglass, yeah.
Fine.
So this is a Brit Plexi.
So across the bottom here, is that, I'm sort of used to seeing, I think, more controls on the old Helix. Is it just, okay,
Yep.
so it's just
You still have the pages,
right,
so you can use the page buttons, or you can swipe as well.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, I do, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I kind of feel where digital technology is kind of hitting a ceiling in terms of how much closer can you get to the original sound when you're already kind of indistinguishable on, you know, with existing technology. So I think that although some of these user features might feel a bit, what's the right word?
Superfluous.
Maybe superfluous, yeah,
Yeah.
Or even a bit kind of like, you know, not professional. I think that is ultimately the next step for this product, is to break down that I'm confused, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I think it's quite clever.
Yeah, if you're not sure exactly what SAG does, tap SAG and it'll tell you what it does.
And I just think that's very, very clever and intuitive of Line 6 to recognize that actually most guitar players are actually probably too embarrassed to say, I don't understand what SAG or Ripple or, you know, what is a Z pre-post. See, what's going on? I'm sitting with an American. What I meant to say was Z pre-post. And this is great. And I'm as guilty as that. You know, I mean, I've probably got an understanding of what SAG is that I maybe saw on a YouTube video from somebody 5 years ago that was maybe explaining it wrong anyway. Yeah. So it's quite nice to see.
Or our SAG might be slightly different than how Fractal does SAG or something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it is a nice, it's a lovely looking screen, isn't it? So okay, so what else? I mean, again, I do want to. I'm excited to hear Paul play it in a minute. But what else is on here that's maybe people might not expect?
So we talked about Showcase, which unfortunately we can't show, but part of that is our new Matrix mixer. So we have enough DSP to process multiple band members, and Helix could always do that too. We had templates in there where you could process 4 different band members in stereo. But that's really tough if everybody's listening to the same mix. So we have a built-in Matrix mixer where you have individual control over your 1/4-inch XLR and headphone outputs. If you tap the lit button, it opens up your matrix mixer. And so every output gets its own cue mixer. So you can set up a complete mix of not just what you hear from the home screen, but you can expand that to access your individual paths. And then the Showcase playback engine, you have access to all 8 stereo tracks.
We should just showcase, we were talking about prior to filming, so you guys might not be familiar with that, but you're fundamentally saying that, Helix Stadium could now be the replace having to take a laptop to a gig to play the track that your band is going to play to. So that the track can be within Helix, and then also within Helix can control all your patch changes. You might send information to a lighting rig, whatever. This is very
via MIDI. It doesn't have DMX or anything fancy like that.
Yeah, but this is very, very much, again, I think, looking to push forward what the unit at the guitar player's feet is trying to solve. We're all just used to going, it's just there to solve how the guitar player sounds. It now looks like Helix is looking to solve more wider band problems.
Why are venues closing? Why aren't more people starting bands? Why aren't more people playing out? And it's not Yamaha's responsibility to solve that issue, but if you can incentivize people to kind of go in that direction, we feel like we're maybe doing some good. I don't know. It's hippie and dippy and whatever.
Well, I think the other feature that we touched on again just before we started filming was this sort of Ethernet style output on the back, which is sort of building in the future-proof element. So I think on day one, I think there'll be a couple of things on the back of this that people will go, well, what's that for? And you'll be going, we haven't really decided yet. It doesn't really do anything at the moment.
Our customers haven't told us what they want yet.
Yeah, but you're building in that future-proofing to go that, if we do need some new crazy connectivity or some way of controlling something that doesn't even exist yet, we're sort of building the hardware that will be able to, so 5 years down the line with version 7.9 or whatever we get to, by then it's like, it'll still be a viable piece of hardware.
Yeah, and it's scalable. So this is a lot less expensive for us to integrate than, say, VDI or L6 Link. So you could imagine this type of connectivity and expandability appearing in lower cost variations as well.
So again, just taking it right back to really basic, and stuff that I'm sure guitar players will want to know is like, do my reverbs sound better? Are my overdrives more realistic? I mean, what can you sort of say?
They shouldn't, but they do to a lot of people. So we have a bunch of people beta testing, and I've gotten a ton of texts like, dude, what did you do? Everything sounds better. And I don't know, because I'm not an engineer, but a lot of it could come down to the additional headroom in the hardware. It could deal with a better power supply. It has to do with the better D-to-A converters and ADD converters. We've improved the dynamic range on all the ins and outs. So a lot of that kind of comes along for the ride and improves things as well. So
you don't have a sample or anything of the smaller one, do you?
I was going to bring one, and
is if we just cut the expression pedal off?
If you cut the expression pedal off, it's a little not quite as deep too, and it's missing the scribble strips.
Fine.
And other than that, they're very, very, very similar.
But those are going to be the two pieces of hardware. So XL comes at the end of 25, and then non-XL, normal.
Or early 26.
Yeah. So I guess if you're watching and thinking, okay, well, I've got an idea of which one of the two is going to work for me. Should we just hear it with Paul, or there's no other sort of devastating? I mean, we'll get a look at the back. Maybe you've seen that already in the video, but there's tons of stuff here, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Look, congratulations, man. It's
getting close. Holy
it's very
cow.
close. I mean, it is a good-looking bit of kit. I'll give you that. So anyway, let's hear it. Right. Well, Paul. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to see you. Officially now my second favourite Geordie. You'll always be number one, Paul. So we're going to just do 4 presets here, or presets that you've made, but they're all really showing off an amp model with a little bit of reverb rather than anything more crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's completely about Agoura. Yeah. Agoura models for this.
Let's have a little look then.
Yeah, so this is the Brit Plexi. So Agoura for me, I mean, you really have to play it yourself. That where it starts to feel, you could start to tell that how you pick a note, it all makes a massive, massive difference. Which pickup you're on, it's bigger and better than we've had before. Everything feels more three-dimensional. It makes you probably play a little bit differently. I think I've had to become a little bit more articulate, although first thing in the morning, certainly from a playing point of view, that might not be the case. But I think when anybody plays them, that's when they're really going to be able to tell. But yeah, so just quickly dive this in for the show. Brick Plexi. Yeah.
That sounds... Again, like you say, an amp like that is famous for its dynamics, isn't it? Yeah. So I think it's a good little demo of that one there.
It's all there, you know. It is super responsive.
What's the next one?
That's the Solid 100. So easy thing to do if you just want to head home at the moment, because we're just in preset view. So you go into there, and then if you click the little lens icon.
I'm just a sucker for and I guess it makes it super obvious what the amp's trying to be as well here.
Me too, yeah. I'm a sucker for graphics. So
that screen is so. I think it's going to be. There'll be some guitar players going, no, I just want to adjust everything down here. But 100,000,000% there'll be loads of players, myself included, just going, oh, I wonder what that even means. You know, pure mule or what? And it's just so easy to
and it's fun, and it's fun to learn. Yeah, it's fun to learn about these things.
That was clever.
But yeah, I mean, just a really dynamic sound. What I've also found, like apart from, like you said, about having to make us more articulate as a player at times, is that there's more definition in the notes within chords as well. If you sort of, A, B with other things, there's, I can definitely hear, each string ringing out clear.
I always felt this was one of the hardest amps to properly do digitally, just because of all the amps ever made, it's probably got the sort of richest, most complex kind of harmonics through it. But let's have a little listen.
Let's see what you think. And great if you want to tweak the sound as well to which way you want. So.
Yeah, no, that is good. Did you have the delay on?
Had a little bit of delay on there, yeah. It was something for a demo we were doing, yeah. I know, put more delay on for this section.
That's a really good AC. I think on other models I've heard of AC, it always feels like the patches are trying too hard to really push that kind of mid-range slightly, and it ends up making the preset sound much more boxy than the amp is in real life.
Yeah,
but that's it.
That's nice and responsive. I mean, do you want us to keep playing and you dial
Yeah,
into the sound.
absolutely.
And what you'll see, obviously, all like we said before, all the parameters are changing underneath. For some of the parameters on here, you're going to see it's actually switched channel as well. So that's part of that. So you can sometimes hear like a bit of a jump as it moves channel. You know, as it just jumps the high sensor. Pull that expression pedal down and I'll just turn the mix off on the delay there, just so we can hear it.
You want a little bit of delay.
Really like that lead sound. That's great. That's so responsive.
This sparkle, crispy leads thing here is obviously these are just the default things. Are you saying you can change?
Eventually, you'll be able to. Yes.
That yourself.
So you'll be able to dial in for 5 of your own sounds and actually morph between them.
But I really think it's fascinating because I'm drawn to just try and find different tones like that more. And I know what I'm doing, largely, down here, but I still just, I don't know, I like it. I think it's a clever...
It's interesting you remember it from the M20D as well, because that was a long time ago. That was way before Helix when you would have seen that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember now, but it was the same. I think what it was when Eric said about if you're in a room and, rather than perhaps trying to address the problem by going, I need to have a bit more presence or a bit less reverb or whatever like that. Yeah. I seem to remember M20D had that. That was the whole point of it. It was just like to just...
So M20D was for people who didn't want to know about PA stuff really. That just, as a band we used it. So if you had a saxophone player, you dragged in the saxophone setting and you very quickly tweaked. Yeah.
This is what's happening as I get older. Is my long-term memory is really, really good, but it's like I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So
mine too.
Last one then, just for this little demo. What have we got here? Classic.
Yeah. It might be worth going back in just for this last one here to go in to all of these things in that preset I've got assigned there. Yeah. So this whole idea of being able to edit things on that screen, once it's assigned to a preset, whatever I touch there, it instantly brings up that effect. So it's a whole new way of editing things where we'll have to go back because I'm going to mess this preset up here. But if you were very quickly wanting to tweak the tremolo, you just drag that and then I actually want a bit more reverb or a slightly different reverb. And you just basically touching these and going through it with that screen.
That's super cool. All right, well, let's record. Yeah, we'll get that original preset back again.
Mess that up.
And what I will do whilst you're playing over this is I'll put one of the I'll put one of the overdrive pedal on or something like that as well. Should we just stay in here all day, Taylor, listen to Paul play guitar? I'll drink coffee. No, honestly, that's an impressive bit of kit.
It is.
I think it's done a really, really good job of keeping what was good about original Helix, but not being restrained in any way by original Helix.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's yeah. What a world we live in.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I think, and again, if that whole showcase thing and some of the expandability on the back rolls out, I mean, goodness knows what we'll be talking about in another 3 years' time. But it's just that's
absolutely.
it.
I mean, showcase will be outstanding. You know, like I've seen it. I've had it briefly running, and it's the amount of opportunities for the band that I'm in to be able to do different things, and you know, with backing tracks, or whether it's just me.
Do you even need a band anymore? Is this it? Is Showcase the end of?
Well, I mean, as a demonstrator,
bandmates?
as a demonstrator, it's amazing. I'm going to have backing tracks in there. As a demonstrator, it's not so great that we put preset clips in there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, absolutely. My God, yeah. Be careful what you wish for. The next thing is like Paul Hindmarsh just appears on the screen here. The AI generator. Tell me what you'd like to hear.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is a vision of the future, isn't it? So anyway, fortunately,
I would like to think it's a good one. We're having a little AI Paul Hindmarsh.
for sure. But anyway, look,
talking about like some kind of nightmare.
thank you very much, man, for doing that bit of playing. It sounded great, and I'm excited to get this.
Do you want to do some? Do you want to
Not
do some?
for these guys. They've had enough of me at Guitar Summit for sure. But look, I will have a little play myself anyway.
Yeah, because for everybody, like going to a store and obviously going to Andertons and try it out, because it feels different when you're playing.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Amazing. All right, thanks. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
See you next
Bye.
time.
Does feel different, doesn't it?
Yeah, I must admit,
three-dimensional thing going on.
I didn't even notice that you'd changed the patch from the Fender one to the Marshall one in the. I noticed something changed with the sound, but it's very easy, I think, just to get lost in the playing. I know it's almost a bit of a. It's not even really a talked about issue anymore on any of this kind of kit, because it almost feels like we've gone past that. But that sort of sense of disconnect that you often used to feel with digital gear, it's just not there, is it?